So I just showed you how to build this model using that implements replicator dynamics. If you didn't see that, go see that video on replicator dynamics and replicator dynamics. And this is the code I just showed. So the thing is, this function here, this replicator function, and this model, this is meant to be, it's a mathematical model that's meant to sort of, summarize how things have been, on average expected, right? So it averages out over all possible agents. So as though your agent played every agent. So every agent plays every agent at every time. And that might not be realistic, and we can do something much more realistic because we can write code. And so what I want to do here is we're going to change this program a little bit so that now what we're going to show is we're going to have our turtle that are going to move around in using a random walk. So random walk. And then the turtle, so they just move around, and then if two turtles are, say, within one of each other, will probably be like on top of each other or really close to each other, then they can play a game, and they're going to play the same game we're playing here, which depend on the payouts, and that's it. So each turtle will have some points that it has, and when you play the game, you get points. So your points go up or go down. If points, we'll say that points go less than 0, you die. And if they go bigger than 500, then you reproduce. So you have another turtle that's the same and has the same color, right? So it's going to be your child, so it's going to use the same strategy. So this is a lot more realistic, or a little bit more realistic than this other one. So the turtles will be moving around in our grid, and they'll be playing with each other. So you don't play everybody, you just play whoever you meet. So let's do this. What we're going to do is we don't need this. We're going to get rid of this U function. We don't need that anymore. Now we still need the payout. We're going to still use the same payouts before, the same payments here, or maybe we'll change the numbers. And all this is going to stay the same. So let me see what we got here. And then the go function, this is all going to change also. So get rid of that. Bye. So now setup says the turtle, and go doesn't do anything because I got rid of everything. So gotta move this guy. Make space for an infinite go button there. It's gonna come in a second. So go tick. I'm gonna ask. The first thing I'm gonna do is I am gonna ask my turtles to. Well, there's several things I need to ask them. Let's say the first thing they do is move. Okay. So turtle methods to move, and then you're going to move in a random walk. So yeah, so I'm going to set that up. I'm going to have some directions here, global variable. I'm going to set my direction. So 0, 90, 180, 270. You can change this later if you want. So random walk, I'm going to set my heading to one of the directions, and I'm going to move forward one. And also I need to set my points to my points minus 1, right? So each time you move, you lose 1 point. Points, I need turtle points. So the turtles need points. So turtles own some points. Think of it as like life energy, if you will. And when I create a turtle here, I'm going to set points to be 10, let's say. So initially, you're born with 10 points, and you lose one each time you move. Then, so the further they move, okay, that's good. After you move, I'm going to ask the turtles to play the game. Play. And to play is what? To play, and so let the nearby turtles are, the other turtles in radius 1. So those are the nearby turtles. If there are any nearby turtles, because there might not be any, right? If there are any nearby turtles, then I'm going to set my points to be my points plus the points I get a payoff I get if I play, my color is going to be fixed. And then the other guy says color, so there could be many nearby, so it has to be one of, it has to be color, the color of one of the nearby guys. You're going to choose randomly there. And I believe that's it, right? So that's how I play. So each turtle, when we ask him to play, looks for, are there any nearby turtles? If so, I'm going to choose one of them randomly, and then I'm going to play the point. I'm going to play the game, so that's the payoff here. This payoff, you remember, all it's going to do is it's going to check our payment here. Now our payment here, because, every time they move, they're going to lose 1 point, and the size of the grid is such that I'm going to need these numbers to be bigger, otherwise they're all going to die pretty quickly. So I'm just going to add 10. It's because they're all going to reach 0. So if you remember, the final part is the reproduction. And actually, I'm not, so rather, I'm not gonna have them die. At 0 actually. Let's see. I'm gonna actually have them reproduce. So what we're gonna do is I'm just going to, let's have them die at 0. So to start with, so I'm gonna ask turtles with points less than 0 to die, and then whoever is left, not whoever is left, after turtles with points bigger than, and then I'm not sure what this number is, so I'm gonna make that global variable reproduce points, so bigger than some number, reproduce points. To reproduce, I'm going to go over here and make that a slider. Reproduce points, maximum, 500. So I start at 10, and each time the ones that get that many points, they get to reproduce. And then finally, to reproduce. And what you're going to do to reproduce is simply hatch, right? So I'm going to hatch one turtle. Another turtle who's going to be sitting right there. Now I'm going to set my points, right? So I have to set my points 10. So because we're going to say that when you have a baby, that costs a lot of energy points. So your back is 10. And remember, now when the hatch primitive, if you haven't seen it, so that's going to create another turtle exactly where this turtle is, and the new turtle is going to inherit everything about this turtle, specifically the color. We're interested. So the new turtle is going to have the same color as I have, or this turtle has, and then it's also going to have 10 points. So we're set. I can set this up, and we can see what is it going to do. This over here. I think I'm going to need an infinite go button, or forever go, because Because each time now, let's see if this works. So each time you press the go button, the number of turtles stays the same, right? Because they're only going to reproduce until they get enough. And so there you see now some of them got together and reproduced. And there we see more and more reproductions happening. And then each time we hit go, we get more and more, and you see, see what's happening. Yeah, our population is exploding. Now the relative bars are there, but it's working. So we could say, well, maybe let's increase this to 500. So you need a lot of energy to reproduce and hit go, and well, it still explodes. But it's working. So one thing you can do, if you because it's exploding, we're interested in the relatives of these. So I would like to keep the population steady, and so an easy way to do that is every time you create a new one, you kill one. So that's what we're gonna do. So each time I need to reproduce one, before I create a new one, I killed an old one, and I'm gonna kill the weakest. So I need to ask for one of the turtles with minimum points. So one of the turtles with the smallest number of points to die. So one turtle die. Kill off the weakest. In our case, the one with the fewest points. And then over here, I'm going to create a new one. So the total number of turtles should stay the same now. We shouldn't have this thing. So there you go. So the total number of turtles stays the same. And you can see this is... Stop. So that was neat. So, well, that looks similar to what we had before, this sort of oscillations. But you see that it stopped, right? After some while, the oscillation stopped, and they're not obviously nearly as perfect as they were before in the mathematical simulation. So this is a lot more realistic, if you will, and it shows not just the small quantitative differences. You don't have a smooth curve; you have this sort of scraggly curve. But also, qualitative differences in that the cycles don't go forever. They crash after a while, which is what you would expect in a real population. So you do get those things, but you get cycles and they can go on for a while. See how long this one goes on for. Then they do tend to crash after a while. So there you go. And you see the code for this was a lot easier, even though the results are more detailed.